Hi, and welcome to a new episode from Social Skills U, where we discuss different aspects of social skills and conversation strategies. So, welcome whether you're watching me on the live stream or whether you're listening on the podcast. So, today, what we're going to be covering is that old chestnut, eye contact, which can feel like the most difficult thing in the world to do, especially if you're at a time in your life where you're surfing low self-esteem, self-consciousness, shyness, social anxiety, all those things. If you're experiencing any aspect of low confidence, eye contact might feel very difficult to do. Even for confident, self-assured people, it can feel a little bit difficult. But why? All we're doing at the end of the day is one human being talking to another. But if you think about it, and if we relate this to our pets, our cats and our dogs, think about it. You watch one of those programs where they're rescuing a dog that's been maltreated and it distrusts human beings, and they're trying to regain the confidence, the trust of the animal. And one of the first pieces of the advice that they give you is don't look the dog in the eyes because they feel intimidated. And it's that old fight or flight, that ancient threat that's getting activated within you when somebody else when it feels like someone is staring at you when they're not actually staring, they're just giving you eye contact. But it's that old fight flight instinct that's getting mistakenly activated within us, that feeling that there's a threat existing here somehow this person is threatening us. That ancient part of the brain is still there. It still gets activated in social situations and when there is eye contact. So how do we get over that? How do we get past feeling like we're under threat? Feeling like we're very self-conscious when we try to give eye contact back? How do we get from that state to just natural eye contact, rapport with the other person, where you're not even thinking about it, where you're both giving each other a healthy level of eye contact, which, by the way, apparently is round about 70%. Now, that's just a very, very rough sort of benchmark, but it's something maybe to aim for, but it's different for everyone that you speak to. What I would say is you gauge the level of eye contact of the person you speak to, and the goal is to try and get into rapport with them. If they're giving you 50% eye contact, aim for about the same. You don't want to try and dominate anyone here. So if they're giving you the benchmark average of 70%, then the goal is to give it back 70%. Because all you're doing at the end of the day is saying, hey, with my eye contact, I'm saying that I'm an equal in this conversation. That's all eye contact is really. But when we don't give eye contact, we can give different messages, and different people interpret messages in different ways. So you don't give somebody eye contact, they might realize, well, this is a shy person, this is an awkward person, they have low self-confidence, and I'm going to make allowances for that. But somebody else that's not aware of these kind of issues, that haven't struggled with shyness themselves, they might think, well, this person is not looking at me, they're not interested in me, they don't care about me, or they're disrespecting me. So people can interpret your eye contact in different ways. So right now, you might be at the stage where you can't give good eye contact, you're struggling with it, and you need to be able to get to the other end of the spectrum where eye contact is natural and you're in rapport with the other person and you're saying, hey, this is my eye contact, we're equals here, we're just two human beings having a conversation with each other. Who's even thinking about the eye contact? That's what we need to get rid of, the self-consciousness of it all. The idea that eye contact is me staring into your eyes self-consciously, trying to force it when you shouldn't even be thinking about it at all. In fact, it's draining your conscious awareness, your presence in the conversation because you're having to think about the eye contact when more of your attention should be on the other person, but it's not. It's being distracted by this issue, this whole eye contact issue, which has been blown out of proportion. And for you, it might be a big thing, but for the other person, might not even be thinking about it at all. So from the get-go, you're at a disadvantage. You've placed yourself on the low ground of the conversation. So what we need to do is get from this point to the point of natural rapport where we're not thinking about the eye contact either. So we need to bridge that gap. So how do you get over the initial hurdle and push away that feeling of self-consciousness? Well, of course, we have to build up our confidence, our self-esteem, so that we don't feel like the the person that doesn't belong in that conversation, that imposter syndrome feeling that we get, like that can come in different shapes and forms, but basically means we feel maybe a little bit inferior to the other person for whatever reason. So we need to get over that. But hey, that's not an instant fix. And that's not something that we can apply today. That's something that you have to evolve and develop. Now, one way that you can, one piece of the jigsaw is by being able to improve your eye contact. So, three little ways today that I'm going to show you or put to you that you can start employing today in your next conversation to help you bridge that gap. Three little tactics. Number one, because we're now reframing what we think eye contact is. It's no longer us self-consciously forcing ourselves to stare into the other person's eyes. It's us looking into their eyes and getting lost in their eyes, studying the colours in their eyes and getting lost in it, swimming within their eyes. I mean, when you look into somebody's eyes, they're stunning creations, these eyes. The colours and the textures in there is pretty damn amazing, really. So, how many people walk away from a conversation with somebody knowing what the color of their eyes is? Not many people, because you're lost in that ball of self-consciousness. So the first strategy is just to tell yourself that you're studying their eyes. You're looking for the color of their eyes, and you're trying to get lost in the color of their eyes. And of course, there's a little bit of payoff on your presence in the conversation, because while you're doing this, you're thinking about that. And so there's a little bit of trade-off. You're losing a little bit of attention in the conversation, but this is you consciously trying to develop an unconscious strategy. Just like when you first learned to drive, everything was conscious in the beginning. You had to think about everything, but eventually it all moved to the subconscious, and now you can drive automatically. And if you're not a driver, then the same principle applies to anything that you've learnt in life. So learning good eye contact is just the same as learning to do anything else. So you're learning to develop your eye contact and move that whole process to the subconscious, where you do it and you're in rapport with the other person without even thinking about it. So that's number one then. Just try and lose yourself in the colour of the other person's eyes. Study their eyes. What shade is it? Is it grey? Is it hazel? Is it brown, blue, green? What is it? Just try and hypnotise yourself with the colour of their eyes. Number two, surf their eyes. There's different characteristics about everybody's eyes. The shape, are they round? Are they almond? What shape are those eyes? How long are their eyelashes? How big is the gap between one eye and the other? Some people have a small gap, some people wider. Some people's eyes are big and wide. Some people are small and narrow, and their eyelids are hooded. So Strap on your surfing shoes and imagine you're now surfing their eyes. You're surfing the shape of their eyelids, coming down that almond slope of one eyelid and doing a ski jump over the bridge of the nose to the other eyelid, and you're surfing around that one. You turn around and you surf down one of the eyelashes and jump over back to the other eyelash on the other eye. Become a surfer. Make a game out of this. Of course, again, you're losing some presence in the conversation by doing this, but you have to. It's that trade-off. But the more you do this, the more it becomes a natural thing. You're just playing a game right now and you're bridging the gap towards that ultimate goal of having natural eye contact. And what this is doing, I mean, the other person has got no idea that you're playing a game with their eyes. All they know is that you're giving them good eye contact. Even if you're a little distracted and you might miss some of what they say, chances are that you're doing that anyway. So at least there must be some bonus, some payoff for you in losing presence anyway, but you're giving something back in the eye contact. For you, you're playing this game. For them, they're getting great eye contact, even if then you're not giving them your full attention at this moment in time. That will come as you get more natural at this. And I'm not saying you play the game of surfing or hypnotizing yourself in their eyes. This is just a short term thing until you get more comfortable with keeping that eye contact. And then number three, caricaturize their eyes. You know what? I was worried I was going to pronounce that wrong, but I did it. So, yes, caricaturize their eyes. Um, You've seen those artists on the streets in London or wherever your own major city is, where they sit outside with a needle and someone sits down and they and they do a drawing or a painting of your face and they exaggerate some feature on your face. Do that with the other person's eyes. Study the shape of it and then elongate it. Make them round and make their eyes bulge, or if their eyes are hooded, make it more hooded. Just make a game out of caricaturizing. I've done it again 3 times lucky. I'm not going to push my luck. But you understand what I'm saying here. Make a game out of this. So that's 3 ways that you can play with their eyes. Meantime, all they know is that they're getting good eye contact from you and you are giving them eye contact back because you've distracted yourself from what you was thinking in the first place, that, oh my God, I'm so self-conscious and I'm having to force this eye contact on the other person. And you're now distracting yourself from those toxic, negative self-dialogue thoughts that are trying to stop you from giving the eye contact. And you're distracting yourself from that fight or flight instinct, that threat instinct. Once you distract yourself from it, it begins to dissolve. And then you're in the presence of the other person. And as soon as you've done this for a little while, you do start getting more comfortable with eye contact, and you can start putting aside those games and just enjoy the natural ability to be in contact with the other person. Another thing you can do is try and get into rapport with their blink rate. This is not a new strategy. People have been doing this for a long time. So try and study the blink rate of their eyes and try and match it yourself. You see them blink a few seconds later, try and match their blink. People have been doing this for a long time in a attempts to get in rapport with the other person. They go so far as to try and match their breathing with the other person, their body language movements, excuse me, the tone of the voice. These are all strategies you can use to build rapport and familiarity on a subconscious level with the other person. Sometime in your past, maybe somebody has tried to do that with you and you've had no idea what they were doing. but now you do. And it's something you can do yourself. And when it comes to developing eye contact, getting in rapport with their blink rate is one way that you could do it. So they're never going to be aware of it, but delay your own blink by a few seconds anyway, if it feels a little bit uncomfortable for you to do so. Or you don't even have to do that at all. Just become aware of their blink rate. All the time, you're distracting yourself from that monster that says, this is so awkward, this is so self-conscious, and I'm not worthy of this person's attention, and all those inferiority complex thoughts and imposter syndrome thoughts. You're distracting yourself from all that clutter, all that baggage that says you don't belong here. Of course, if this is something that you are suffering from, and you may not be, you may just want to be able to develop your eye contact better. So they are now, it was 3 ways, it's now turned into 4 ways. Excuse me. So yeah, we had the blink rate, we had the surfing of the eyes, the shape of the eyes, the eyelashes, the gap between the eyes. Play a game of surfing it. Get lost in the colour of their eyes. Do all these things, or choose the one that you like the best, and just distract yourself from all those negative thoughts until you're in the zone and you're more comfortable with this person, and they feel more familiar with you. They're no longer a stranger, and you can do that eye contact a little bit better. So that's how you can bridge between those feelings of being self-conscious and awkward and get into the promised land of rapport where you're not even thinking about your eye contact. So that's it for today's episode. I hope that brought some value to you, and enough so that you're going to tune in for the next episode soon. Very soon I'm going to be talking about sensory talk, a very new methodology, a strategy for anybody who gets a blank mind in conversations, whether it's from shyness or social anxiety, whatever triggers it. If you get lost in conversation, your mind goes blank, you feel like you've got nothing to say and you're the quiet one in conversations, sensory talk is going to change everything for you, no matter how long you've struggled with this, no matter how deeply entrenched you feel in your persona of the shy person. Sensory talk is going to change it for you, whether it's just been a few years or it's been 40 years. Sensory talk is going to be a game changer for so many people. And I'm soon going to be talking about it because it's going to be available in approximately 1 month's time. So I'm going to gradually start introducing you to it. But for now, I'm going to sign off and say thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience while I bluster and blunder my way through another episode. And I hope and look forward to seeing